Welcome to M Squared TechCast, a live show offering the latest news and interviews with the people driving business, technology, and politics in Michigan. Now, your hosts, Matt Roush and Mike Brennan.
Hey, it's Matt Roush.
And Mike Brennan.
And we're back with another segment of the M Squared TechCast.
And we have calling in as a disclaimer one of my other business partners. Yes, I know, but it's my show and I can do what I want, right?
All right.
So I have Dan Keelan calling in. And Dan, you know, I think I have a lot of projects, but I think I'm a piker compared next to you. Dan has just launched.
Oh, my God.
Dan has just launched yet another project with a small, insignificant newspaper group here, right, Matt? Yeah.
Right, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, Mobility Mondays, and actually, he just laid that on me last week, so I'm still coming up to speed on it too. So
It sounds really cool, Dan. What's the story with Mobility Monday? What's it about?
Well, let me tell you. So, you know, part of what we've been doing for the last year and a half with global automobility is really trying to tell the story of what's going on in kind of a big space. You know, when we launched it, I was thinking about autonomous vehicles, and then pretty quickly started to think about, you know, IoT and blockchain and artificial intelligence and smart cities and kind of all that connected, codependent technology. So we've been covering the news, doing some events, interviewing as many leaders as we can. And this is kind of an extension of that. You know, I believe there are a lot of people out there that are doing great work in companies that people haven't heard of.
Mm-hmm.
That are that you know, it's kind of a branding challenge for them. They're pretty busy men and women, and so in addition to talking about them and covering them, we thought, well, what if? You know, we started this as a quarterly idea, but we'll probably take the summer off. So 3 times a year, what if we did like a networking event where we brought these leaders in, let them talk to each other, let us give them a few minutes to talk to the audience there, see if we can fill the place up, capture the whole thing on video, promote it, and just kind of provide another platform. So we're talking to a couple of events right now. Actually, the final date, we're looking at November 4th. The fallback date is the 11th for the first one.
what day of the week? What day of the week is that, Dan?
That's a Monday.
Is that?
And I'll tell you how I know that in just a minute.
Okay.
But go ahead.
It's a project of global automobility, and Cranes is working with us as a promotional partner, which, you know, is really an honor because, you know, they're of course a big respected brand, and so they're going to help us get the word out, and hopefully it fulfills, you know, a lot of our mission and a little bit of their mission. But that's basically what it is: create a networking platform for the leaders of the companies that are making all this difference in terms of you know, connected technology. Bring them together and promote and celebrate what they're doing.
So you're going to be talking to them about all of the sort of enabling technologies of advanced mobility. So AI, cybersecurity, all of the technologies around autonomy and smart manufacturing as well, right?
Yeah, and as it's evolving, you know, it's kind of naturally kind of creating different content focus, I think, for each of them. The first one looks like it's going to be a little more focused on AI, autonomous vehicles, and also the education and training that's involved in all of that. That's kind of how the first event is rounding out.
Mm-hmm.
But right, it's a range. So if you're an IoT or an IIoT company, if you're involved in AI, if you're thinking about autonomous vehicles, but you're really thinking about the grid and the community and sort of the whole smart city concept, these are the kinds of people we want to attract. And as media, you know, we want to tell their story, and we want to find out what the news is, but we also want to help them with their branding. And for business to business, you know, the fun thing about that is if you connect one company to another, and then that helps grow both their businesses, then you've done a good job.
And this is going to be at the Detroit Mobility Lab?
So we're talking to a couple venues right now. The Detroit Mobility Lab is on for at least one of them over the next year. That's the thing I was alluding to that we're going to kind of figure out over the next 2 days. But yeah, we're talking to a couple other venues that I probably shouldn't mention just because we haven't solidified anything with them yet. But we love the idea of being in Midtown, being at Wayne State. So that's certainly kind of driving us in that direction. And there's sort of this tagline of smart cities, smart cars, smart people that we think, it takes on maybe an elevated message when it's taking place at like our cherished research university in the heart of Midtown.
Well, there's a small, I guess, STEM-based kind of school in Southfield too. That might
want to be involved in this.
Might want to be involved.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's actually how Dan that I heard about this initially, because John Petty called and asked me to think about moderating one of the panel discussions at this thing.
Yes.
But I told him I'm having a knee replacement on November 4th, so I'm kind of going to be out of commission that day.
Go for the 11th then, because we got to have Matt there.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
He's the celebrity.
Well, you know what's funny about that, Matt? I saw John this morning, and he said, I think we should move the event to the 11th. because Matt Roush is going in the hospital. And I didn't even know that you guys had talked. We talked about you. I didn't realize you had a conversation, so I kind of laughed, and I said, yeah, okay, we'll move it to the 11th.
All right. Well, you do it on the day that works for you, and I will. I'm sure in a cloud of painkillers, be watching on, whatever. Webcast
we'll just boot him up,
Yeah.
and he'll be good. So.
Yep. So, and I don't want to make it sound like, other than, really pinning down the event, because there's been lots of moving pieces, it's really a pretty solid thing. We're talking, right now to some training companies, a couple automotive suppliers, a couple of law firms that are really interested. We have opportunities for the right underwriters to kind of underwrite the whole series if they kind of want to be the exclusive, the way all that sponsorship works. They get a kind of a speaking opportunity. We'll capture it in video, deliver it back to them. Signage at the event, exposure in global automobility, exposure in cranes. Maybe we can talk Mike Brennan into giving them some exposure in, one of his popular publications.
Cross my palm with silver,
Yeah, I know. So that's what it is. And anybody that's interested, by the way, if they go to globalautomobility.com, we've got a banner sitting there at the top of the page. You can click on it and send me an email. And that's good right now for someone who's just interested in attending. So we've got tickets available for folks that are interested in just finding out more about the series, or they want to speak at it, or they think it's kind of a good place for their CEO to be. Let me know. In the next week, we're going to send out a survey to everybody in the market, kind of trying to get a really good idea of kind of topics. So, this could, like I said, we're going to do the first one in November, second one probably early March. And so part of what will drive the agenda for those is going to be the feedback we get from the community. So the survey is intended to help us, drive the agenda in the best way.
As I look through your sheets, I don't see the duration. Is this a morning event, a breakfast event? How are you thinking about it?
Yeah, so it's a morning event. We actually went back and forth. So we might mix it up. The first one's going to be a morning event. 8 o'clock, coffee, bagels, all of that. Networking till 9. Everybody probably out between 10:30 and 11. We have talked to a couple of venues that would like to do more of an afternoon event, and then end up with a happy hour and some music and that. So we're going to see how the first one goes, obviously, but we might move them. We might mix them up. We might do a morning version, and we might do kind of like a morning with coffee version, and then an afternoon with wine version, and see if we can please everybody.
All right, so why do you see this? Why do you see now is the right time to do this?
Well, I just think from a Michigan point of view, mobility is important. The The industry's changed a lot. The industry's matured a lot. Even though people talk about brain drain, if you talk about advanced engineering and the technology that's really driving the future of the car or the house or the city, a lot of it's happening here. And so we just think being at Wayne State, being in Detroit, being in Michigan, being in the Midwest, it's a great time to have the conversation. And everybody we've talked to has been interested in speaking or appearing or attending. I think there's a hunger for it because if you think about the work that Ford's doing up and down Michigan Avenue, right? And a lot of it's happening, well, not without fanfare, but you've got an audience of people that are really hungry to know. So what's going on now and what's next? And we just want to provide the platform. We see, just as you guys do, tons of investment in the region. And so I think the time's great. And as I said, the interest we're getting from our audience is huge.
I think Planet M would probably be interested. I know a few people there.
Yep.
They could make some calls, so
Yep.
This is right
There you
up
go.
their alley. And I think the governor. And
Well,
go ahead.
yeah, well, and I think things like I know the lieutenant governor spoke at your event in April.
He's one of our.
You've got people at that level,
Yep.
across the board that have a stake in it, have an interest in it. We'd love to. We also don't want to be reinventing the wheel. There's a sense that there's always an organization to join or an event to go to. This isn't intended to compete with those. It's really intended to kind of bring in the best of the best.
Yeah. And like I say, if you rotated around the metro area, I mean, certainly downtown's a great place. Southfield would be another great place. Troy would be another great place. And that way you're going to attract different crowds.
Yep, agreed. So I think part of it for us is going to just be a learning process as we kick the first one off. It'll become apparent to us what's working and what we need to, maybe tweak for event number 2.
Yeah. All right, so are we looking at Dave there? 2 minutes? 3 minutes?
Yeah, 1.5.
1.5.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Couldn't tell from he's giving me all these hand gestures, so normally Jessica would give me a different hand gesture, but she's not here right now. So you got about a minute or so left. So talk about one more time, if people want to get involved in this, they want to reach out to you, how would they want to do it? How do they do that?
Yep. The most direct thing is globalautomobility.com. You will see at the top of the homepage Mobility Mondays banner. Click on that. It'll send me an email. Let me know if you'd like to get a coffee or a beer, have a conversation. If you're interested in sponsoring, that's probably the most direct way to find out more, get on our mailing list, and get involved.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much. Dan Keelan, publisher of Global Automobility.
Additional four-year students love Lawrence Technological University's thriving campus life. But LTU has always met non-traditional students' needs too. Lawrence Tech offers over 100 degree and certificate programs that can get adult students started or back on track. And most of our classes are conveniently offered evenings at our beautiful Southfield campus or online, so you can balance your social, family, and work life even while you power up your career. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.